In today's video, we're digging into the retirement trap that quietly steals some of the best years of people's lives, especially in their 50s. It's what financial planners call the one more year syndrome. I've seen it time and time again. Financially independent professionals who delay retirement, not because they have to, but because they're stuck in this cycle of just one more year. And while it feels like a smart, cautious move, it often ends up costing them the most vibrant, active years of their retirement. That's why I'm making this video today. I want to help you recognize the signs of this trap, understanding why those extra years of work often turn into lifelong regrets, and give you the tools to confidently step into retirement, even if your spreadsheets keep whispering, "Not yet." What I love about this conversation, though, is that it goes beyond the numbers. It's one of the reasons I got my certificate in behavioral finance last year that complements my CFP designation. Because here's the thing, financial planning isn't just math. It's psychology, it's habits, fears, identity, and purpose. I've seen people with more than enough feel stuck. And not because they didn't run the numbers, but because they couldn't imagine what came next. And that's the real work, making sure your money supports a life that feels meaningful. If you enjoy conversations like this and want to hear more in the future, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I post videos that help you make smarter decisions with your money and your time. I've also included a link in the description where you can send me your retirement questions, and I'll send back a personalized video to help you think through it. It's an easy way to start a real conversation and take a step closer to the life you've always wanted. I spend a lot of time reading financial blogs and subreddits. It's part of how I stay connected to the questions real people are asking. And every now and again, a post pops up that sticks with me. One of the posts is what inspired me today. That post was titled "One More Year Syndrome. How did you get out of it?" The person writing it was in their mid-50s. They had an income stream that covered their expenses. Healthcare was sorted. On paper, they were ready, but they still hadn't retired. They were stuck in what is known as analysis paralysis. And maybe you've felt that way too. You've done the math, the spreadsheets say you're good, but emotionally you're not quite there yet. And I totally get that. Pew Research did a study a few years ago, and it shows that about 4 in 10 people polled see their job as central to their overall identity. And it gets higher with the more education and income. So giving that up without something to look forward to, that's a tough ask. It reminds me of a book I just finished, and it's called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. The core idea is this. The average human life lasts about 4,000 weeks. That's it. What are you doing with yours? What I appreciate about this book is that I'm a technical person. That's why I earned my CFP. I like optimizing finances. But this book is a reminder that there's more to life than just maximizing money. And there's one passage in there that really stuck with me because it ties directly into this idea of the one more year syndrome. And here's the question the book asks. Where in your life are you pursuing comfort when what's called for is a little discomfort? Because the truth is, the life projects that matter most, the ones that push you, shape you, fulfill you, rarely come with a perfect control or total certainty. If you're debating whether to leave a job, asking yourself, what will make me happiest right now, might lead you to the most comfortable option, or worse, leave you frozen in indecision. But deep down, you usually know. You know whether staying in that job will help you grow, or whether it's slowly draining the energy out of you week by week. So the takeaway is simple. Choose growth whenever you can. And that growth doesn't have to come from work. And in fact, it often doesn't. There are many stages of life where you can grow in new ways, personally, spiritually, or creatively. You don't have to be defined by your job title forever. Ask yourself honestly, am I in a place that fosters that kind of growth or stifles it? If your job still challenges you and fills your cup, then maybe the one more year mindset doesn't apply right now. But the beauty of financial independence is this. You get to choose. The moment your work stops being a source of growth, you have the freedom to explore a new path. And that's a powerful place to be. I've helped a handful of clients retire in their 50s over the past year, and every single one of them is thriving. Not because they stopped working, but because they started growing in new ways. One former executive became a handyman, not for the money, but because he genuinely loved fixing things. Another client dedicated her time to philanthropy, diving into causes she never had the time for. And one is now growing a farm, something he dreamed about for years. What they all have in common is this. Retirement didn't mean stepping away from a challenge. It just meant shifting into a challenge that felt meaningful. So I'd love to ask you a question, whether you're already retired or planning for it. What are you doing? or planning to do in retirement. I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's always inspiring to see how people choose to spend their time, and your story might spark an idea for someone else watching this video. Another way to approach this is to reframe the question. Instead of asking, how much do I need to retire? Try asking, what kind of retirement do I envision? Chances are you've already thought about the numbers. But now, take a moment to picture what retirement actually looks like for you. What you're doing, where you are, who you're with. Once you have that vision, then work backward to the money. Will the life you imagine require a lot of financial resources? Or is it going to be something more modest? If you can do those things you envision and have the means to do it, pursue that new growth. Don't waste your 50s or any other decade of your life. Of course, there are some important financial considerations if you're thinking about making the leap into retirement, especially in your 50s. One of the big ones is Social Security. Retiring early could mean locking in a lower benefit. Why? Because Social Security is calculated based on your highest 35 years of earning. And for many people, those peak earning years happen in your 50s and early 60s. If you step away too soon, you may miss out on several years of your best income years, which could slightly reduce your future benefit. And second, I don't want you to retire with a razor-thin success rate. The earlier you retire, the longer your money needs to last. The more time there is for unexpected health events, market volatility, or family changes. So yes, there's more risk, but there's also room for balance. Let's talk about health for a minute as well, because this might be the one biggest reason not to wait. On one hand, we all know our health isn't guaranteed. And if there are things you want to do, travel, adventure, even just spending more time with loved ones, it's important to do them while you're still happy, healthy, and able to do it. But on the other hand, we also have to plan for the times when our health may decline. So here are a couple of questions worth asking. Do you have a plan for health insurance until Medicare kicks in at 65? Have you thought about long-term care and how you'd cover that if it becomes a need later on? These aren't always fun questions, but they're essential. Because part of retiring confidently isn't just about having the money, it's about knowing you're covered your basis so you can enjoy the life you're stepping into. And as we wrap up this video on breaking free from that one more year syndrome, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. First, pick a date. Put it on the calendar. Even if it changes, it gives you a real target, not just a vague idea. As the date gets closer, start thinking about where the next phase of growth in your life will come from. Try taking a long sabbatical. Live on your projected retirement income. Practice the rhythm of your days without working. See how that feels. If it feels aligned, then ask yourself the real question. Looking back at the end of your life, would you wish you'd work another year or that you'd lived more fully while you had the chance? Spoiler alert, it's almost always the latter. So if you're in your 50s and you've been saying just one more year, take a moment to really ask, what is that year actually buying you and what is it quietly costing you? If you're thinking through your retirement plan, I'd be happy to help. You can start by sending me your thoughts using the first link in the description. I'll send back that personalized video to help you think through it. And if you're ready to talk one-on-one, you can use the second link to book a meeting with me directly. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.